Hello and welcome to session number 18. Well, today we're not going to talk about the food that you grow, but rather I'm going to be talking about what gets grown for you. And what triggered me off to do this special session, which is not really about giving you instructions about how to do things, is this disturbing video that a lot of my friends are sharing on Facebook. I'll play just a little bit of it here, if I can. And it basically talks about the things that happen. Look what's happening to our food. Now, I'm going to put a link to this so people can watch it all. And it shows all the terrible things that are done to the food that is grown for you between the time it is grown till the time it reaches the supermarket shelves. So I'm going to put this down here a little bit and make a few explanations here. Okay, now, apart from what you see on this video, let you go through this chain of custody of what happens to that produce. It gets grown, wherever, picked, and immediately after it's picked, it either goes directly to a packing shed that is owned by the grower, or to a bigger grower that will do that packing for the smaller grower that doesn't have a packing shed of his own. Okay? So let's say we're talking about apples. They get thrown on this big like conveyor belt that will sort the apples by size. And they're very, very nice machines, in fact, that do this, because all of these things are rolling. So you have first, like a cavity that will take apples that will fit into this. So they will roll out, and then this, and this, and this, and this. So at the end of it, they get sorted by size. Okay, so that's number one. After they get sorted by size, depending on what kind of packing equipment this farmer has, some of the very highly sophisticated ones are later on sorted by machines. Others, well, most of them actually don't have this facility. So the sorting is done by people who do the packing. And how do they do this? By visually examining the fruit. Okay? And then it gets sorted based on quality. Okay? And then when it is packed to go to the market, you get fruit of the same size, same quality, gets put in one box. And then again, another one of another size, another, let's say, color quality goes into another box, etc., etc. And that's how you end up with premium grade, second premium, third, fourth, and then, of course, there's a grade that you cannot market anymore. I think a lot of you know this already. Now, what you may not know is the fact that it is only a small percentage of the fruit that gets picked that actually fetches premium price for the grower. And the grower is running a business. Let's not forget that. He or she has all the right to make profit. It costs them a lot of money to do this, and the fruit that they cannot sell for some reason or another, or get very little money for, is costing them the same amount of money to grow as the fruit that will fetch the highest price. I was once, look, I've got many such stories, but one story sticks in my head quite a lot. One of my customers that I was looking after, well, in our introduction actually, he wanted to see if I could help him or not. He showed me, this guy is a stone fruit grower. I wonder if he's watching this ever. Hi, Michael. He showed me 3 bins of fruit outside the packing shed, all full of peaches, same variety. He said, taste this one. The only difference was size, okay? The only difference was size. So I took a small one, a small peach, munched it, yeah, okay. He said, all right, now take a sample from the middle one. I took a sample from the middle one, I tasted it, yes. And then he said, well, now grab a big one and taste it. And I tasted it. And he said to me, which one you think was the best? And I really didn't know what he was angling at, but I just had to give him an honest answer. I said, look, to be quite honest, I don't taste any difference. He said, that's exactly what I'm trying to hear from you. He said the only difference, Iman, that's what he calls me, is that the small one, no, sorry, let me start from the middle. He said for that middle one, that middle size, we get about anything between $10 to $20 a tray, and a tray it has got about 20 fruits in it. He said the big ones are too big, they can't go to the fresh produce market, so we sell them to the cannery, to the factory that make jam, and we get about $200-300 a ton for this. Okay, so look at this, from $10 to $15 or $20 a tray, which has got about 4 kilos in it. Okay, so you're talking about, let's say, $4 a kilo top range, $2 a kilo minimal range, and the other one they get about, if they're lucky, they get $400 a ton, so down to 40 cents a kilo. Okay, I said, what about the small one? He said, we can't give it away, we throw it away, we can't even sell it to animal feed. So that's the predicament that the grower has to go through. And where does this come from? Where does this price differential come from? Okay, now if this guy, Michael, was able to, let's say, put all of his produce together, if he didn't sort it, if he put it all in the same box and sent it to Woolworth or any other supermarket, they will come back to him and say, nobody bought this. You sold us something that we weren't able to sell. Go and sort it, and then package it properly and send it to us. That's how the problem started initially. Okay, so let's not lose sight of what we're heading at here. All right, but even in this tray, which is of very good quality, what happens later on when this product hits the supermarket shelf? Okay, I'm going to show you a little example here of fruit that is grown locally here on our land. Here's a lemon. Doesn't look very nice. Doesn't look nice at all, but it's got nice lemon juice in it. We don't throw it away. We're not selling it. It's ours. We don't care what it looks like. Now here's another lemon. You're not going to get a perfect lemon here in our garden. Why? Because we don't care about the cosmetic appearance. We don't. So that's probably the best lemon we can produce here. Sometimes they're nicer, especially the limes. The limes are much nicer than this. But this I would consider to be a good shape lemon. It's not perfect. If you want it to be perfect, it has to be sprayed. It has to be treated with all sort of things that don't affect the quality of the juice inside. So when this goes, if it finds its way somehow inside the box at the supermarket shelf, and you, the consumer, don't pick it up, then the supermarket owner will go to his supply chain manager, who will go to the person who deals with those growers and tell them, we don't want your fruit anymore, no one is buying it, find a way to make it look clean and perfect. So the poor farmer then will have to go out of his way to spend time, money, fuel, energy to make sure that this fruit reaches your Royal Highness in a way that looks perfect. This is why they have to do these things here. This is why, yeah, I know it's not playing. This is why they have to go and spray and dip the fruit and do yada, 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 because the consumer will not buy that fruit. He or she will leave it on the supermarket box, which will go back to the farmer. And the supplier, that middle person between the supermarket and the grower, will put pressure on the grower to make it look perfect for you. The market is consumer dictated. You are the consumer. You dictate what you want. Now, often people say, oh, I'm not going to buy seedless watermelons. I want to give a message. That's a great thing. Okay, even though I don't find anything wrong with seedless watermelons, but that's your choice. If you think that seedless watermelons are demonic or they're so bad or genetically modified, it's up to you to think so, but they're not. There's nothing really wrong with seedless watermelon. But when you leave this behind and pick this one, you are sending a message. On your own, your message doesn't mean much. Collectively, you are putting pressure on the supermarket, and that pressure will be passed on to the grower, and then the grower will have to go and treat the crop with things that are totally not needed at all for production to make the fruit look fantastic to you. So don't look at videos like this one here, which is really very alarming. Don't look at it at face value and say, oh my God, look what those growers are doing. Look at your own behavior. Here's another one here. These are beautiful passion fruits, maybe not known to many people around the world. Okay, we grow these here. And here's another one. Okay, this one was exposed to more sun, I would imagine, so it developed full color. And this one didn't. There won't be much of a difference in the quality of the juice inside. But be honest to yourself. If you go to a supermarket and you see those things beside each other, and you want to only buy one, which one will you pick? Which one will you pick? If you pick this one, you're giving a message, which will eventually mean that the grower may have to go and do something to enhance the color on this one. But the moment you find out that the grower is trying to enhance the color artificially, you start screaming and shouting and say, look what this grower are doing. He's only responding to your demand. That's what he's doing. Now, if I tell you that about 20%, I don't know if I mentioned this figure before, about 20% of produce fetches the best quality price, I would not be exaggerating at all. So imagine yourself in any business, in any kind of business, being able to only sell 20% of your produce. And there's pressure on you to produce more of it because, of course, you know, the other grades are not giving you any profitability. What would you do? Honestly, what other options do you have? So if you're on this trend to change, don't just go and buy organic products. And I'm not advocating against organic products. I'm not. Don't just stop, say, I'm going to make sure that I don't buy genetically modified food. Don't just say, I don't want to buy square watermelons or square tomatoes or seedless watermelon. Just say to yourself, I'm not going to be vain enough to judge the quality of the fruit by the color of its skin or if it's got, you know, a little dent in it. I mean, I have seen people, you know, they take the apple, they turn it all around. And if they find a little dimple in it, they put it back. No, leave that for someone else. I deserve better than this. Gosh, this is where the problem starts. Not with those people carrying those knapsacks and spraying things. They don't do it deliberately. They hate doing it. They don't want to spend time and money to do it. Why would they? Why would they do it? Most of the time, it's to please you. Yes, of course, there are times when there's incidents of disease and insects and stuff like that, and they have to control. Yes, but this perfectly shaped fruit, that shiny, beautiful fruit that's dipped in so many things, either paraffin or now there's this new thing that they're talking about, can't think of its name off the top of my head, and then the consumer goes and says, are these dips safe? If you worry about their safety, don't look for shiny fruit. End of story. You decide. You decide. The provider is there to please you. You tell him what you want. It's in your hands. Thank you for watching.